VAR and the standard of officiating in this country is absolutely woeful. I mean, woeful has probably been kind. But this sort of thing needs to stop, because we saw yesterday two teams who are fighting to get into European places absolutely stung by terrible, terrible VAR decisions. Newcastle United being one of them. Of course, we got away with it because we transformed in the second half and we actually won the game. But a stupid handball decision, which could have made us 3-1 ahead, was taken away from us. And obviously the penalty incident in the first half. However, at Tottenham, absolutely diabolical decisions going against Brighton and Hove Albion yesterday, which denied them an opportunity to win that game. And then you see after the game, the Tottenham players coming into the tunnel celebrating. I mean, I'd be embarrassed if I was Tottenham players yesterday. They were woeful, absolutely woeful, and came away with a win. Another lucky win. But it was a win helped by the disgusting refereeing decisions and VAR decisions that went against them yesterday. Matoma should have had a hatful of goals, but was denied on numerous occasions by ridiculous decisions. How that wasn't a penalty, somebody tell me. Somebody please explain to me how that was not a penalty. Because it's clear that he stood on Matoma's foot, he went down, it's a clear-cut penalty. Now, if we start in the game yesterday at Brentford, you know, the penalty incident, absolutely shambolic. The amount of time that took for the decision to be made was clear that it wasn't a clear and obvious penalty. Now, after about a minute of looking at it, you certainly have to turn around and say, there's no clear and obvious penalty there, let's get on with the game. But no, they went on and on and on, then send the referee to the screen, who then takes a tiny look and thinks, yeah, go on, and we'll give a penalty. It's ludicrous, because Fabian Schär last Sunday was kicked in the face by Bruno Fernandes, which is all over social media if you want to go and have a look at that picture. Yet nothing. It wasn't even looked at by VAR. Now, Howard Webb, you have got a huge job on your hands to put this right, because this is completely destroying the game that we love. It is destroying it. You know, even when goals go in now, the fans don't know whether to celebrate or not, because of, you know that VAR is going to, certainly with the other teams, not the top six, but the other teams, they're going to look at it and think, yeah, we'll try and deny them a goal. Because I'll tell you something now, the Premier League and everybody to do with their absolute bollocks does not want teams like Newcastle United, Brighton, Brentford, or any of the teams pushing for European places to become part of that elite at the top of the league. They don't want it. And all the decisions that have come this season have proved that. You know, I put a tweet out this morning saying, you know, the standard of refereeing is absolutely bollocks, right? It is terrible in this country. Michael Oliver is the standout referee, who, by the way, Man United fans were kicking off about refereeing yesterday, yet he had a brilliant game. Nothing wrong at all. Yet we get Kavanagh, who's from Manchester. But we didn't make a song and dance about it. But then it's clear and obvious what a bellend he is as well. Now, it's got to, somewhere along the line, enough is enough. As I said there on the headline at the bottom, enough is enough. Our game has been ruined. I mean, look how long they took to look at Callum Wilson's handball, which, by the way, hit a Brentford hand first and then off his shoulder. And Callum does instinctively what a striker does, smashes the ball in the net, goes and celebrates. But no, we can't let you get 3-1 ahead. No, that's just not going to happen. And then you see the incidents at Tottenham yesterday as well. And, you know, Howard Webb, you have got to now start dealing with this in a more emphatic way than what you're doing. It's not okay now just to pick the phone up and apologise to these clubs. You're on the phone every week apologising to all these clubs. Take Brighton, for example. All right, move Newcastle to one side for a second, but we'll take Brighton. You know, Brighton aren't a massive club, and I'm not being disrespectful to Brighton, but they are having a magnificent season, playing some brilliant football, and have some really, really good players there this year. And they are pushing for a European place. For Brighton to get into any of them European competitions is huge for that football club. It's not just the pride of being in Europe. It's the actual money that it generates for a club like Brighton and Hove Albion. You know, let's be honest, they've had a really rough time in the not so distant past when they were almost out of business, etc. So for those supporters to be in the position that they are now is fantastic. Yet, Howard Webb, you are determined that these referees are making balls decisions and ringing these clubs up and apologising. What does an apology do? What does an apology do to Brighton this morning? Absolutely nothing. They can't go back and replay the game. They can't get the points from the goals that they were denied yesterday. So what's the point of making an apology? I've seen a lot of Brighton fans saying you can stick your apologies up your asses this morning, because I tell you something, right? It needs more than an apology. It needs an explanation. It needs looking into as to what is going on with these decisions. You know, is it that the referees are just so bad, or is there something sinister going on here? Because questions now have to be asked. And it's not just Brighton and Newcastle United fans making these accusations or assumptions, because there's a lot of other fans on social media this morning grouping together. So where do we go with this? Because something clearly has to change, and change very, very soon. Because as I said earlier, it's spoiling the game we love. It's just ruining the whole thing. And VAR isn't to blame for this. VAR is a good system. We saw that with Joe Linton's goal on Wednesday against West Ham. You know, without VAR, that would have been ruled out for offside when it was clearly not. But it's the incompetence of the people running the show that is the problem. It's the incompetence of the referees on the pitch and the incompetence of the guys sitting in a VAR office, looking at these decisions and thinking, yeah, we got that one right. Yet Howard Webb, the day after, has to come out and apologise for more disgraceful decisions. It's a huge job Howard Webb's got. It's a huge job. But the apologies need to stop. Actions need to be taken. And I don't know whether an independent company needs to look into this and see what the hell is going on. Because it's quite clear that a lot of fans now are starting to worry that there is a cartel going on here, and that, you know, the Premier League or the six teams that are normally been at the top of the league over the last few seasons, they don't want anything to happen. Now, I'm excusing Manchester City from this because I don't think they're involved in this. I really don't. But the clubs that have clearly had a say in it, Tottenham, without a shadow of a doubt, Liverpool, we know, have had a say in it as well. Manchester United, not even talk about that. You know, it's clear that there are certain teams at the top of that league have an influence over the Premier League and people running the show. So does it need an independent adjudicator or somebody to come in and try and clean this shitstorm up? Because that's what it is. It's an absolute shitstorm. It's a disgrace. And things have got to change, and change now. Not next season, now. Because there's going to be a lot of clubs miss out on opportunities to play in Europe and things like that they wouldn't have dreamed of. And it's ruining it for them clubs. I feel really, really terrible for Brighton yesterday. I really do. Because those fans in the past have been through enough. And now their club has an opportunity of getting into Europe. Yet they're now seeing the absolute disgraceful cartel and the bollocks that is going on in this Premier League with VAR and refereeing decisions, which enables the top clubs to hang around there and stay around the top because they don't want anybody messing with the big clubs. They're scared. And it's becoming an absolute joke. You do not find this going on in any other leagues. VAR is run perfectly in every other league. VAR was run perfectly in the World Cup. So why is it, when it comes to this country, that every single weekend of football, there is an issue with refereeing decisions and VAR decisions? It shouldn't be like that. VAR is straightforward. You look, you make a decision, you get on with the game. You do not take 6-7 minutes to make a decision. Because if you're taking that long, there is not a clear and obvious error. There just isn't. Now, as for what to do, then who the hell knows? But I tell you something now, there's a lot of mentioning on social media about clubs gathering together to fight this. Because questions have to be asked. And things will only happen if the other clubs get together and do something about it. I'm not saying whether it needs to be fan-led or anything like that. I'm saying that the clubs themselves need to do something about this, and questions need to be asked from all the other clubs in the Premier League as to what the hell is going on. Because we are seeing now, week in, week out, decisions that are absolutely disgraceful. They're not mistakes. They're not mistakes. You cannot possibly tell me that Brighton not getting a penalty at Tottenham yesterday was a mistake. It was not a mistake. It was a decision that was absolutely made to keep Tottenham in the game. I don't care what anybody says. You cannot look at that incident and say, oh, we made a mistake, as Howard Webb would say. No, it wasn't a mistake. The penalty for Brentford yesterday, that was not a mistake. You don't make simple mistakes like that when you're looking at it on a camera on numerous angles to say that Mitoma wasn't fouled or Isak had his head up. The Brentford player put his head down into the challenge. All Isak was doing was trying to clear the ball. There's no penalty there. So it wasn't a mistake. And that's what fans are asking this morning is, why is this happening? And it always happens when the bigger clubs are involved. And it's taken away the enjoyment of football from all of us fans. We are sick to death now of every single weekend seeing an incident happen that is just blatantly corruption. I mean, I didn't believe in it all when people started mentioning corruption first of all. But now, after seeing not just what happened to Newcastle, but other teams are getting it against the cartel. It's happening all over the Premier League. And it's ridiculous. Harry Kane going down as if he was absolutely shot in the face last week. He should have been sent off. And not just sent off for that, but the challenges that happened before that. Yes, the Everton player was stupid for what he did. But that's not excusing Harry Kane. But again, because he plays for Spurs, nothing done. And fans are now asking the question. Fans are now asking their clubs to do something about it. But where do we go? Where do we go with this? Because it's frustrating everybody. I'm more angry because at what happened to poor Brighton yesterday. Not so much Newcastle because we turned it around and we won the game. If we didn't, then I would be kicking off really, really badly. But we were lucky. We performed and we turned it around at half time and we got the result. But Brighton deserved the 3 points yesterday at Tottenham. No doubt about it. No doubt in my mind. So let me know in the comments, what do you think should be done now? I don't think VAR needs to be scrapped as such because it's not a bad system. You look on a camera, you see the incident, you make a decision. But these guys are not doing that. They're going to the far end of a fart to make sure that these other clubs do not get the decisions their way. So it's a very difficult decision. Do the other clubs now need to pull together as a unit and confront the Premier League, confront Howard Webb and get this sorted out? Because enough is enough. Our game has been destroyed by incompetence and probably corruption. I've seen enough now. I've seen enough evidence to think that there is corruption in the game. No doubt about it. And that's why I reckon that somebody independent needs to come in and totally wipe this away. Go through it with a fine-tooth comb, find out what's going on, find out the people responsible for it, get them the hell out of the football game, get them away from this game, and bring in people that are going to manage it properly and not give a shit that they're offending the cartel. Because we just cannot have this go on anymore. It's a disgrace. So let me know in the comments what you think, guys. I don't know. I mean, I've given you a few suggestions there. Let me know what you guys think. I'm very, very interested to know. Because, things have got to change. And things have got to change very, very soon. But if you have liked the video, guys, please do hit that like button. As usual, it is very, very important that we get the likes. It does help us in those search results on YouTube. And, of course, if you're new to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button. Come and be part of this incredible community. We've had such an influx of subscribers, so welcome to everybody. And of course, don't forget to hit that notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload a video. You can follow us on all our socials as well. And why not become a member of the Toon Review? Just hit the join button underneath as well to be in with a chance of winning some prizes as a member. Thank you very much for watching, guys. The reviews tonight, if you at 8 o'clock, that should be an interesting one as well. But until then, have a fantastic Easter Sunday, guys. Take care.